Intro, the rebirth of strength, soft instrumental hum, slow fade in. There comes a moment in every human life when the weight of the world presses against your chest, when every dream feels too far away, every failure feels too personal, and every silence from the world echoes a question: are you strong enough to continue? In that moment, most people break. But the few, the rare souls who choose to stand tall amidst pain, discover a secret truth. Strength is not given, it is forged. Today, we enter the mind of one of the most powerful philosophical voices of our era, Cornel West, the philosopher of courage, compassion, and conviction. Through his words and the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, we're about to uncover 8 brutal laws that will rewire your mind, sharpen your focus, and make you mentally unbreakable. These are not gentle ideas. They are not meant to comfort you. They are meant to wake you up. Because Cornel West teaches us that life is not about avoiding suffering. It's about learning to dance with it, to wrestle meaning out of it, and to transform your pain into power. So if you've ever felt lost, heartbroken, or misunderstood, this message is for you. Sit back, breathe deeply, and prepare to step into a new mindset. A mindset of discipline, purpose, and inner steel. Let's begin. Law number 1. Pain is the price of becoming Cornel. West often says, you can't lead the people if you don't love the people. You can't save the people if you don't serve the people. But behind those words lies a deeper Stoic principle, that love and strength are born through struggle. Stoicism teaches that every challenge, every heartbreak, every disappointment is not a punishment. It is training. The universe is not against you. It's preparing you. When Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way," he spoke of the same truth that Cornel West preaches from every podium. Pain is the path. The modern world teaches us to run from discomfort, to numb our emotions, to scroll past our sadness, but West reminds us that to feel deeply is to live fully. When you feel pain, you are being invited to grow, not in the comfort of pleasure, but in the fire of experience. Every philosopher who ever touched greatness learned this law. Epictetus, born a slave, found freedom through philosophy. Seneca, surrounded by betrayal, found peace through acceptance. Cornel West, raised in the heat of racial and moral struggle, found hope through love and service. Each one learned that pain refines you. It strips away illusions, burns away ego, and reveals what truly matters. If you want to be mentally unbreakable, stop asking for an easier life. Start asking for the strength to endure the one you have. The first Stoic law of the unbreakable mind is this: welcome pain. Study it, let it teach you. Because without it, you remain soft, fragile, and half awake. As Cornel West puts it, to be human is to suffer, and to bear witness to the suffering of others with integrity and love. When you stop seeing suffering as your enemy, you begin to master yourself. Law 2, discipline over emotion. There's a storm inside every one of us. Anger, jealousy, anxiety, fear. Most people let that storm rule their lives. They act on impulse, speak before thinking, chase every craving, and then wonder why peace never stays. But Cornel West, like the ancient Stoics, believes that real freedom is mastery over your emotions. Stoicism does not mean suppressing what you feel, Kasim, it means directing it. Discipline is not the absence of emotion. It is the art of choosing which emotions deserve power. West often reminds his students that courage is not the absence of fear, but acting rightly in spite of it. He says, courage is the enabling virtue that allows you to be a truth teller, a love warrior, a hope spreader. Think about that. A love warrior. Someone who can face cruelty with compassion. Someone who can face injustice with clarity. That kind of strength is not born from chaos. It's born from discipline. Marcus Aurelius woke every morning and wrote to himself, reminding his mind to stay calm and rational no matter what the world threw at him. Cornel West does the same, but through the rhythm of thought and faith. His philosophy fuses the Stoic mind with the prophetic heart. He teaches that every day, you must practice integrity like a muscle. You control what you feed your mind. You control what you react to. You control whether your emotions become your master or your servant. The second Stoic law of the unbreakable mind is this: train your emotions to serve your higher self. Don't let rage dictate your truth. Don't let desire rewrite your discipline. Don't let fear cancel your calling. When you conquer emotion through daily discipline, your life transforms from reaction to intention. As Cornel West would say, never confuse motion with progress, noise with truth, or comfort with growth. Discipline isn't punishment, it's power. And when you live by that, your mind becomes your ally, not your enemy. Law number 3. Ego is the enemy of growth. Low cello hum fades in. Cornel West once said, "You can't be a truth teller without humility, because arrogance blinds you to reality." Those words echo one of the most important Stoic principles, that ego is the silent assassin of wisdom. Ego tells you you're already right. Ego tells you you're already strong. Ego tells you that you don't need to listen, learn, or evolve. But growth begins the moment ego dies. The Stoics knew this well. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor who could command legions, wrote daily reminders to himself saying, "You are just a man. You bleed. You will die." He did this not because he hated himself, but because he understood that humility is freedom. In our modern world, people confuse confidence with arrogance. They seek validation more than transformation. They post perfection but hide pain. Yet Cornel West lives by a different rhythm. He reminds us that greatness is not about image, and it's about integrity. You don't need to be better than others. You need to be better than your ego. When you let go of the need to be seen, you begin to truly see. When you let go of pride, you open yourself to wisdom. The Stoic mind is quiet not because it lacks confidence, but because it no longer needs approval. The third Stoic law of the unbreakable mind is this: kill your ego daily so your soul can breathe. Cornel West says, humility is not weakness. It is the courage to be real in a world addicted to appearances. The ego wants to impress. The spirit wants to express. When you align your heart with truth rather than validation, your mind gains peace that no insult, no loss, no rejection can destroy. Remember this: a humble mind is an unbreakable one. Law number 4. Purpose is greater than pleasure. Every generation struggles with the same illusion, that happiness is the goal. We chase comfort, luxury, validation, attention, thinking they'll make us whole. But Stoicism and Cornel West's living example remind us of a deeper truth. Pleasure is fleeting, but purpose is eternal. West doesn't live for applause. He lives for service. His philosophy of love and justice is not about temporary joy, but about meaningful struggle. The Stoics taught that the ultimate goal is virtue, living in harmony with truth, reason, and moral purpose. They believed pleasure is a shadow. It follows when you walk toward purpose, but disappears when you chase it directly. Look at the world today. People drown in entertainment but starve for meaning. They scroll endlessly, compare constantly, consume mindlessly, and yet feel empty. Because pleasure without purpose is just anesthesia for the soul. Cornel West often says, you can't live a life of deep integrity and expect it to be comfortable. It's not about pleasure. It's about purpose. Every Stoic understood this. Epictetus lived with nothing but had everything he needed within. Seneca owned wealth but warned that luxury makes slaves of men. Marcus Aurelius commanded empires but valued humility over indulgence. The fourth Stoic law of the unbreakable mind is this: do not chase pleasure, pursue purpose relentlessly. Because when you find a purpose that makes your soul catch fire, discipline becomes joy and sacrifice becomes sacred. True happiness is not the absence of struggle, it's the presence of meaning. When Cornel West speaks of joy, he calls it a joy grounded in hope, not comfort, a joy that sings through sorrow because it stands for something larger than self. To be unbreakable, live for something the world cannot give or take away. That is your purpose. That is your freedom. Law number 5. Master the art of emotional armor. Life will not go easy on you. The world will betray you, criticize you, misunderstand you, and sometimes even mock your goodness. And if you do not build emotional armor, every word, every glance, every rejection will cut too deep. Cornel West teaches that love and strength are not opposites. They are the same force in different forms. To love truthfully, you must learn to guard your peace without losing your compassion. To serve humanity, you must learn to face cruelty without letting bitterness consume your heart. That is the Stoic way. To build armor not of cold indifference, but of unshakable inner clarity. The Stoics called it ataraxia, a state of serene calmness where external chaos cannot disturb your inner order. Cornel West calls it soulful steadiness, the ability to stay rooted in love even when the world tries to shake you with hate. The fifth Stoic law of the unbreakable mind is this: guard your inner peace like a sacred temple. That means you stop letting opinions define your worth. You stop allowing social media to dictate your value. You stop letting criticism rewrite your confidence. Because the truth is, no one can disturb your peace unless you hand them the keys. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind when not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Cornel West echoes the same truth in modern language when he says, "Never let anyone drag you so low as to make you hate them." That's emotional armor. Not detachment, but dignity. It's walking through chaos with calm, through hate with grace, through disappointment with courage. It's knowing that life will test you, but you will not crumble, because your peace is built on something deeper: truth, virtue, and faith. When you reach this point, you no longer need the world to validate you. You become your own source of stability. That is when you stop merely surviving and start living with power. Law number 6. Solitude is the school of strength. There is a kind of silence that frightens most people. The silence of being alone with your own thoughts. We drown that silence with noise, scrolling, talking, consuming, running. Because if we stop even for a moment, we might have to face the truth, who we really are beneath the distractions. But both Cornel West and the Stoics knew solitude is not loneliness, it is the forge of the soul. Marcus Aurelius spent hours each night in silence, writing to himself about virtue and death. Epictetus taught that if you can sit quietly and be content with your own company, you are freer than kings. Cornel West describes solitude as the classroom where the soul learns to love truth without an audience. In a world that craves attention, solitude teaches depth. In a world obsessed with followers, solitude teaches faith. The sixth Stoic law of the unbreakable mind is this: do not fear your own company, but master it. When you learn to be alone without feeling empty, you unlock a rare power: self-sufficiency. You begin to draw strength from within, not from the crowd. Solitude teaches you to hear your own voice more clearly. It is in those quiet hours that you realize what you stand for, what you value, and what you must let go. The Stoics called this autarkia, inner self-sufficiency. Cornel West calls it moral consistency, staying true to your principles even when nobody is watching. Because if you can't stand strong alone, you'll collapse in a crowd. True power is born in silence. Not in noise, not in praise. In the quiet moments when you face yourself and choose truth over comfort. Solitude reveals your authentic self, and that is where all greatness begins. Law, verse 7. Live as if your time is already up. Every Stoic philosopher and every great soul like Cornel West speaks of urgency with humility. They understand the truth we try so hard to forget. Life is not guaranteed. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Marcus Aurelius wrote each day as if it were his last, not out of fear, but out of respect for existence. Cornel West reminds us that death is not the enemy, complacency is. He often says, "To live is to learn how to die. To love deeply is to accept the fragility of life and still choose hope." The seventh Stoic law of the unbreakable mind is this: live as if your time is already up. Because when you realize that every moment could be your last, you stop wasting them on pettiness, ego, and fear. You stop arguing to win and start speaking to heal. You stop chasing status and start building substance. You begin to see each conversation, each sunset, each breath as a gift, a moment to live honestly, bravely, and fully. Cornel West calls this spiritual fire. It's the awareness that time is short, so love deeper, forgive faster, and serve greater. Death is not cruel, it is a mirror. It reflects what matters most. So ask yourself now, if this day were your last, would you spend it the same way? Would you waste it on resentment or use it to create meaning? The Stoics didn't fear death. They feared not living authentically before it came. So choose now, live now, speak truth now, because this moment, this heartbeat, is the only one you are truly promised. The final law and the unbreakable mind. You've heard the laws. You've felt the weight of them. But there is one final truth. The eighth law that binds them all together. Law number 8. Love is the ultimate rebellion. In a world that teaches cynicism, to love is a revolutionary act. Cornel West teaches that justice is what love looks like in public, and tenderness is what love feels like in private. Stoicism teaches the same in different words: to act with virtue, to do good without expectation, to love without fear. The final Stoic law of the unbreakable mind is this: let love guide every act of strength. Because without love, discipline becomes cold. Without love, wisdom turns into arrogance. Without love, power corrupts instead of creates. To be truly unbreakable is not to be hard, it is to be whole. The Stoics sought peace through reason. Cornel West adds soul to that reason. He shows us that a mind can be strong without being cold, and a heart can be gentle without being weak. When you live by these 8 laws, you don't just survive the world, you transform it. You become the person who can walk through fire and still speak of love. The person who can face chaos and still choose calm. The person who can face injustice and still stand for truth. That is what it means to be mentally unbreakable. The Stoics gave us the tools. Cornel West gave them a heartbeat. Now it's your turn to live them. So stand up, straighten your back, breathe in courage, breathe out doubt. Begin again, today, right now, because you were not born to break, you were born to rise.